Hey y'all, Shonda here, and welcome to the Healing Lifestyle Podcast, bringing you everything from family, fun, fitness, motherhood, all the things when it comes to aligning your healing with your day-to-day life. And I'm so excited. I have a dear friend of mine, Malaika Moran, who's the owner of Social Step Marketing. And we were doing a ancestral wellness reading for her. And so much started coming up. So many nuggets and pearls of wisdom from spirit and from the ancestors that we both literally looked at each other. She was like, stop, please record this because you have to share what is coming up with everyone. And I was like, you right. So what you guys are about to hear is what came up during her ancestral wellness reading at the end. And it's just a lot of really juicy, marinating nuggets about self-love, about healing, the process of healing, the beautiful parts, the painful parts, the hard parts, the worthy parts. And I love it because, and what I hope is that you are able to see that you're not alone with what you're experiencing. You're not alone with what is coming up, and that we are all here together on this journey. Enjoy. But yeah, like the first half is
like the detox phase.
Yeah, like the first half is like your detox phase. So like you're unlearning toxic shit about you. You're learning you play victim for a little bit. Yes. I ain't even gonna lie, because you feel so hurt by so much things your parents did, things friends did.
I'm glad you said that, because that keeps coming up. I feel bad about it.
Yeah, you start playing victim, but the key is to get out of victim mode. Because victim mode is where you mess over yourself. Because what happens is when you stay in victim mode, you can't get the other lessons that are for you. So like when you're in victim mode, you start getting like, oh, I need to set more boundaries, right? I need to make sure people don't treat me this way. And I've noticed that I'm attracting these type of relationships consistently. But when you get out of victim mode, you start seeing what you allowed.
Yeah.
Not that these people, yes, they did you something.
Right.
You also allowed it.
My part.
So victim mode makes you go,
right.
I allowed it.
Yep.
This is how I showed up.
Yep.
But now, and also the behaviors that may not have been cool on your part too. Like both of y'all might have been toxic.
Yeah.
Like not just them, you toxic too.
Yes.
Like,
you know what's interesting when you start to realize how you are operating out of your wounds.
Yeah.
I actually have to look at some of my behaviors, and I'm like, man, and I wasn't conscious of it. But I also understand how that could be off-putting to someone else.
Exactly.
And how I could have fueled some of the energy that
you got back.
Right. And I was like,
absolutely
not understanding it, because at the time I had an intention that was good. But the way I executed it was from a place of hurt. So it wasn't healthy.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you have this intention where, let's say, like, oh, I just want to be a good friend to this person. I want to show up and right? But what happens is you're moving out of a wound of not loving yourself. You're moving out of a wound of wanting acceptance from the other person because you don't accept yourself.
Yes.
They're moving out of a wound of wanting to be validated, like excruciatingly validated by that person. Yeah, because now you people pleasing, right? Now you trying to make sure you say everything that they want to hear because you don't want them to take their love away. Because that's how much you want, not just their love, you just want love. That wound makes you show up like that. And on that person other end, you doing the most.
Yes.
And it's not that, like, you know, they're like, they're like, I mean, you know, oh, she nice, like, but goddamn, like, you know, I just met you yesterday,
girl.
Why are you trying to be my best friend now?
That is girl.
So it's like but when you're operating in your wound, and I mean, you're not even thinking about healing. That's just how you've been moving your whole life, because you're operating on this subconscious program of please love me, please love me, please tell me I'm enough, please tell me I'm enough, please show me I'm enough, please show me I'm enough. So you go out with the first person that smile at you and tell you cute, right? You latch yourself on to the first friend that they take your, they just think you real nice.
Right.
Right. And then over time,
and then I go extra.
And then you go 10 times into it.
Right.
And then it's 3 months later and the friend don't even know how to operate around you because you're doing the most and it's too much. And the partner is even doing the same thing, or they're just using you.
Right. Because I'm letting.
Or being able to manipulate you and get you all to themselves. And you find yourself in all these consistent, or you can't even appreciate that person, right? Because you don't appreciate yourself. It's all our life reflects back to us what's going on in us subconsciously. Our life reflects back to us the wounds that needs our attention. And when that doesn't get our attention, our bodies will. Everything is our bodies, our minds, our spirit, everything is moving to get our attention. So the frustrating situations that happen in life is for you. It's to get your attention, to go, hey, there's a way you're showing up that keeps bringing these negative experiences that you don't want no more. Can you face it, please? We don't want to keep sending it to you, but we got to if you don't learn this lesson. You literally here to learn the lesson. It's just like in school. You don't get the material, you get kept back. You got to repeat the grade. Yeah. It's the same way with how our life works here on earth, but once you get past that detoxing phase of unlearning everything and facing yourself, facing your generational trauma, and I'm not even saying that you at peace with it yet. I'm just saying that you unearthed all of it.
Right.
Then you work and you heal towards getting into this almost like a routine of like, oh, this is my lesson. Like, let me get this lesson. Let me go do the work. Okay, cool. When you start to accept that is a part of life, you don't start feeling so daunting about everything.
Yeah.
You still might be like, man, this is wow. Yeah. Like, this is like, you're still going to have them moments, but it's not with so much like, oh my God, the world, everything was a lie. Like, you get past like that part, and it's like, ooh, I'm really sad. That just pissed me off.
Right.
Or this situation is really uncomfortable. What's the lesson? I even start looking at my bank accounts like that. So when I start noticing that bills are getting past due and my money is like going. I'm like, whoa, hold up now. There's a lesson in this. My root chakra, the lower half of my body, there's something here. There's something around lack that I'm not getting. Or maybe too, Spirit is trying to show me lessons in managing my money. Maybe I'm overindulging. Maybe I'm overspending. If I've been manifesting abundance and I keep getting lack, there's a lesson. Because I got to make sure that I'm a safe space for my abundance to land. I got to make sure that I have, maybe it's all happening too, just to push me to go get the knowledge, to manage my money, to manage if I want the 6 and 7 figures, do I even know how to manage that? Exactly. Do I know how to turn that into abundance that doesn't just serve me, but serves my community, serves the world? Do I even know how to do that? And I renamed all my accounts. So like all my bills, the accounts I call it stability. And then all my like accounts for me, I think I made it like thriving or something like that. What I paid the boys tuition out of, I call it my success account. So that way that changes my relationship to how I look at the money. So even when certain accounts are like dwindling down and I didn't catch it, what needs my attention? My stability needs my attention. It really, if you can really use it as a mirror to what needs your healing, what needs your attention. Because sometimes I also learned sometimes it's not just that it needs healing. You just need to go get a different set of knowledge about that particular thing, especially like money, right? So now, okay, we need you to go learn that money is energy. We need you to go learn how abundance truly works. We need you to go learn how calling in more money works. We need you to learn that money is cyclical, that it's energy, that it flows in and out, that it never runs out, so you'll never run out. We need you to go learn and educate yourself on that before we give you all this other stuff.
Right, that you just
Because if we give it to you, you're going to lose it.
Bad habits.
You got the same wound, so you're going to move the same way.
Right.
You're going to self-sabotage and feel like you don't deserve it. You're going to overspend it because you don't love yourself enough.
You don't let it sit long enough. So it's like as soon as it comes, you spend it right away. And that,
or you let it sit too long because you're too scared that you're going to lose it. And now you're not loving yourself enough to save enough to give yourself what you want. So now you're punishing yourself for having too much.
Exactly. So, or I don't put it in my business because I don't believe in it. Which means I don't believe in myself.
Self-sabotage. And then you telling yourself that you just saving your money and being responsible. But if you allow for your life to be that mirror back to you, when you get out of that detox phase, you start, I know a lot of people refer to it as a game. You know, I like to look at it as like I'm putting the puzzle pieces of who I truly am and what I'm capable of. So it's like, let your life reflect back to you what part of you needs to now be authentically built up and not what part of you now needs a new surviving program.
Right.
You know?
Right. You know.
Mm-hmm.
All these
Art school, you need a whole new set of skills and tool sets that's not being taught in schools. That's not being taught in different places.
I mean, life skills are not taught.
Exactly. So why would spiritual skills and intuitive skills and mindfulness skills, honoring yourself
and
energy, authentic skill sets, like being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, like I was working with some kids yesterday and I don't know, I have a compassion wound that kids just feed and I really appreciate them. And like, I was just looking at them yesterday and they look different, right? Mm-hmm. And I found myself going, oh, wow, sometimes kids like aesthetically look like their stereotypes. And I was like, ooh, girl, you judging. What's wrong with you? But what I really love that they taught me in that moment, I was like, how beautiful is it that they are all so different?
Yeah.
You know, like how cool is it that we can all be so different? And then I also noticed like we gravitate towards what feels familiar and safe, even if it's unhealthy. And then we shun what makes us think outside of our comfort zone. So like when kids get together, like, oh, they just go and you deem somebody else weird because they don't look like what you used to. Like, what type of stuff is that? Instead of just, and then the spirit was saying, imagine if everyone really tapped into their true authentic selves, nobody would be the same. Nobody
would be weird.
Weird wouldn't be a thing.
Exactly.
Everybody would just be who they are.
And we would learn to accept that.
Everybody has their own, I don't care if you, two Black women, right, with the exact same upbringing, whatever, you still have your own unique DNA energy signature that makes you different from the person sitting next to you. Not better than, not less than, just uniquely different. That's it.
And then you can be curious about those things.
And then you can learn we can learn from each other.
Exactly.
And be open. No, we wouldn't worry about age. And like, I love learning from kids. Kids teach me patience. They teach me how to go with the flow. They teach me how to just like roll with it. Like,
they teach me not to overthink.
Yeah, because they don't really be overthinking it. They just be like, well,
it's what it is.
Yeah.
They describe it exactly the way it is. They don't worry about.
They don't sugarcoat for your feelings. And I remember yesterday we were by a friend's house and she asked the boys what they wanted. And Mikey was like, she had string cheese and crackers. And Mikey was like, I don't want that. And I remember in that moment, a part of me wanted to be like, don't do that. That's rude. And then I was like, wait, that's me telling him like that it's not okay to say that he doesn't want something. And I was just like, no, bud, like that's what she got, man. Yeah. I was like, so if you don't want that, that's cool, but you got to wait till we get home. Right. You know, and then he was like, well, she don't have Paw Patrol string cheese. I like Paw Patrol. I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like, it's just string cheese.
Right.
But I was like, no, that man being specific about what he wants. Like, who am I to shut that down? Like,
very.
And I was like,
that's very involved.
And yeah, I was like, listen, I was like, bud, I get that. But if this is what she got, you also don't get to get mad at that.
That's right.
I was like, if this is what she got, that's what she got.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, that's cool. You don't have to take it. I'm not going to force you to take it.
Yeah.
Right? Because my initial reaction was like, boy, take the snack.
Right.
Then I was like, wait. Like, I immediately was like, wait, no. I was like, if you don't want it, it's cool. You know, but you just don't have to wait till we get home. Like, that's just what it is. And then I was like, dang, I immediately was like, thinking about how many of us grow up being told, like, girl, shut up. Just take and it's like every time that happens, when you go, like, I don't want this, or no, I actually want this. And then you develop that belief that, like, my voice doesn't matter, my opinion doesn't matter. Like, what I really, really want doesn't matter because I'm going to get told to just take whatever you give me.
And then over the years, you don't really know what you want.
I'm realizing how much our throat chakra is connected to ourselves. The way we express ourselves, the way we talk, and really being truly connected to that. Because we pick up, right? We pick up sayings from friends. We pick up different things that we, might hear our parents say. And then it's like over time, the way we speak becomes this medley of all these other people. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, well, where's your voice? Because that's the voice that never really gets cultivated. It's almost like your voice is a survival mechanism. With all these programs that you've learned have been accepted.
Right, so you can exist safely in a world that only accepts certain things.
And you got the dialogue down.
Yeah.
Because you've adopted what worked from each person that you've seen be accepted and validated.
Right.
But now, like, what do you even sound like? Like,
right.
I always think about, like, we should have kids, like, sit back and listen to playback of their voices. Like, know what your voice sounds like. So you could actually start liking it.
Whenever I hear my voice,
you'd be surprised. You'd be like, that's what I sound like? Like, why is that phone? Like, why don't we know that?
That's right.
Like, why we don't know what our own voice sound like? It'd be little things like that I be thinking about with kids.
It's interesting. As a kind of a side hobby thing, I've been looking into voiceover work.
Mm-hmm.
But there could be a deeper reason why I'm interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that your voice is connected to who
you are. Yeah.
That's me trying to explore and understand it.
Absolutely.
That's interesting.
Watching, I remember, like, I've been dancing my whole life. I probably just started watching video of me dancing. When I would be on music video sets and stuff like that, I didn't like looking at playback of myself. I did not want to watch.
Don't they do that?
Mm-hmm. They sure do. They sure do. That's why I have assistants. I can look at other people dance and, I can clean it and correct it. But when it came to just watching myself back, it was even when I tried, there's only one video, I think my whole life two videos that I ever like will go back and watch and be like, oh, I'm actually pretty good. Yeah. Like, but like in the moment type of stuff, I just always had this disconnect of not wanting to look at myself.
But isn't dance a form of expression too?
Mm-hmm.
So there's the act of doing it and then there's the act of looking at it.
Yeah.
So is there any insight to you not wanting to look at how you express yourself physically?
Yeah. I think in retrospect, it's attached to always having self-image issues, especially when I danced after I had the boys. Like, after I had the boys, I didn't really want to dance anymore. Not on camera. Like, I didn't mind teaching and stuff like that, but I was so like, my body that I had afterwards was not the body that I was, used to. And it's all good, but that's just a space I was in. But I was letting people tell me, like, it's okay, you look good. When I knew in my heart that I wasn't good. Like, I don't feel good. Right. Like, I get what you're saying. I appreciate you. And I remember having one friend, I was just saying how uncomfortable I felt. And I remember at the time, I had someone tell me, like, well, I mean, be honest with yourself. You ain't really been eating right. Like, it's, and I'm, bro, I got kids, man. I'm trying, but I think beyond that is just like, I didn't take the time out to get to know the new body I had or what it was capable of. I didn't want the relationship. I just wanted my old body back. I was like, I worked so hard for that body.
I don't want to be familiar with this.
I don't know who this is. I want my old body back.
Body that's not gonna stick
Give me
around.
my old body back, Jesus. But I think all of that plays into, like how we were talking about earlier, all that plays into your relationship with yourself. Because if you had this relationship with yourself, or you love yourself enough to give yourself grace, or you love yourself enough to allow yourself to evolve, then you can love yourself through the changes and the transformations and the transitions. It would be nothing to look at yourself in the mirror. And so that's why whenever spirit and the ancestors are talking to us about self-love, I always tell like a lot of clients, they always think it's about if they get their hair done consistently. And if I'm like, no, that's self-care.
This is very different.
Which is it's completely different from self. Because self-love is you think you're beautiful even if your nails not done and you look like the color purple. Like, and you still would feel beautiful. Like that's self-love. You know, I'm not saying go around here looking raggedy on purpose, but I'm saying you would feel something. Do you feel something different for yourself?
Right.
You know, and that is what we're really being encouraged to explore and cultivate and develop and heal into. Because at the end of the day, everybody that's out here hurting people, doing all this kind of stuff is people who don't. It's all of us. We don't know real, authentic, unconditional love. Love that's not transactional.
Right.
Love that literally just celebrates our pure existence. And then love also comes with accountability. It comes with boundaries to people who don't know how to embrace and nurture and cultivate that kind of love when it comes to relationship. It's really learning love in all the lessons that it occupies.
Which it sounds like it's much bigger.
It's much bigger than what we think it is.
Give it credit.
Because we always bring it down to platonic, family, romantic.
Yeah.
And love is so much bigger than that. Love is energy. And that's why, like, when you look at spirituality, we say God is love. Not necessarily from, yes, like a Christian concept of agape love, but not really. Because we don't even, in spirituality, we don't even limit God to being a person in the sky. Like God is all-knowing. It's energy. God is energy. But at the end of the day, God is love. Point blank, period. God is love. God is an energy. God is everywhere. And we are made up of God's energy. So we are made up of love. So when it's coming home to self and developing self-love, it really is getting to know the God within you. That's why self-love is getting to know your bigness and why wouldn't you be big and expansive? If you made up a God energy, you should glow when you walk into a room. You should light up when you walk into a room. Your smile should shift everybody's mood when you walk into a room. But when we're sitting in our insecurities and we don't even think we're capable of that, it's easy to get intimidated by somebody else's light. It's easy to feel away when somebody else looks like they walking around floating on a cloud.
Right.
And they all happy and unbothered, you know? It's easy.
So everything you just said, like that whole